There's no place like the Cube. Family, it is Pride Month, and this is your favorite queer radio personality, Anna Deshawn, and I am so freaking excited to be kicking off another Pride Month on this Queer News podcast, just living out and proud and unapologetic. I love it, and I want y'all to tell me why you love it. Why do you love being queer? Why you love being an ally or a comrade? I got a link in the show notes, and I want you to leave us a Pride voicemail. I want to share them with the listeners so that we can be reminded just how magical we are, just how beautiful we are, how wonderfully made we are. So leave me a voicemail. You listening to this pod right now, I'm talking to you. I want you to leave me a voicemail. I want to hear your voice, and I want to share it with the rest of our listeners. Cool? Cool. So family, last week you heard me talk about the Chicago Independent Media Alliance, we call it SEMA, and our annual fundraiser, how much it's impacted E3 Radio and our work. Well, this week, I want to introduce you to Mild Sauce. Hear from one of the young people who have gained so much from the work that they've been able to do with Mild Sauce, a local independently owned media outlet. If this story moves you, I ask that you choose to give to the Chicago Independent Media Alliance and support independent journalism.
My name is Jubriel Chaparro. I'm 19 years old. I'm the creative editor for our interns, which means I oversee our interns' progress with their stories and guide or help them publish those stories. Mild Sauce is a web design curated by these young people in Chicago. Being part of Mild Sauce has helped me improve greatly on not only my writing skills, but also my socializing and networking skills. Thanks to Mild Sauce giving me the opportunity to write my own stories, creative ideas were let loose. But I was also given the chance to strengthen and learn how to talk to strangers, which not only helps me tell stories, but also network outside of the workplace like in college. It's important to support independent media like Mild Sauce because it gives an opportunity for young adults to tell the stories they want to tell in their own way, while also learning other skills such as filming, editing, and more. Mild Sauce has allowed me to learn those skills and let me grow as an independent person with the experience and opportunities it has given me.
Now for the news. There is so much to dig into today. We have an update on the murder of Ashley Burton, a Black trans woman found in Atlanta back in April. Brittney Griner and her teammates were harassed in a Dallas airport on their way to Indiana. A judge in Florida has granted an injunction so trans folks can continue receiving gender-affirming care. HRC declares a state of emergency for LGBTQ folks living in the United States, and history is made at the Tonys when Jay Harrison and Alex Newell became the first non-binary performers to win a Tony. And how in the world could I end this episode without talking about the Ultimatum? Queer love. You better listen till entertainment. I'm just saying it's gonna be worth it. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to higher frequencies. We do this frequently. Turn your radio station to E3 for that decency. Listen to great music and the latest movement. Safe listening for anyone that's tuned in. Who you waking up to? Anna Deshawn, Q Crew and friends. It's that real talk. Online radio with the spins. You caught up in traffic, frustrated. Just check in with E3 to shift your vibrations and get elevated. That's queer radio done right. Choose to be yourself. That's the only way to live life, and that's how it's done here. Just know y'all tuned in to the greatest. Ain't no competition. We ain't worried about the other stations. Check.
Family, we have two top news stories today. I've never done this before, but it was necessary. First, we start with an update on Ashley Burton. Maybe you remember Ashley's story. I reported about her tragic murder back in our April 17th episode. Ashley was a Black trans woman who was found tragically murdered outside of her apartment complex in Atlanta. According to her cousin, Ivory, Ashley was a talented hairstylist and aspiring makeup artist who had recently relocated to Atlanta to grow her career. This past week, Atlanta police booked and charged Darius Mills with armed robbery and murder in Ashley's case. So often these cases go without a conclusion of some sort. And so we'll keep following the story, and I do hope this gives her family a little peace. Our next top story is about Brittney Griner and the harassment she faced alongside her Phoenix Mercury teammates on Saturday, going through the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. The team was headed to Indiana when Alex Stein, a Blaze Media YouTube personality, I don't know who these people are, I don't know, decided to turn on his phone and do what he does best. From my understanding, he's known for confronting folks, yelling questions, pushing his right-wing beliefs, and then posting them on social. Well, that's exactly what he did on Saturday. Take a listen.
Do you still want to boycott America, Brittney? Stop. Well, get off me. Stop. Stop. I'm weird. Why? She hates America. What about the Merchant of Death, Britt?
Now, I posted the video on TikTok and IG if you want to check it out. But prior to the season starting, lots of folks predicted this would happen. Now, the WNBA and the Phoenix Mercury have a plan in place. BG has been approved to fly chartered flights, but she wasn't on one that day. I bet she hasn't been on one all season. I can't tell if it's because she's such a team player that she doesn't want to be treated differently riding these chartered flights, or if it's because the Mercury can't afford it. I don't know. Bre'Yon Turner, one of BG's teammates, tweeted, "Player safety while traveling should be at the forefront. People following with cameras saying wild remarks is never acceptable. Excessive harassment. Our team nervously huddled in a corner, unsure how to move about. We demand better." And we demand better for them. Now, the league has made advancements in this area. They announced earlier this year that they will have chartered flights for all playoff games this season, and certain regular season games that are played on back-to-back days requiring air travel. That is a big step forward. That has never happened before in league history. Now, the Players Union, the WNBPA, said in a statement on Saturday, allowing teams to fly charter is only about player health and safety. And until the league and teams take this seriously, situations like this will continue to occur. Every commercial flight forced upon players is a threat to their health and safety. We implore the league and teams not to wait another day to change the rule regarding travel. Unfortunately, we know this one incident will spur others to do the same. It will give others, like Alex Stein, opportunities to push their agenda and ultimately make these players feel unsafe. Players who are predominantly Black and queer. That's just the fact of the matter. BG is now the most recognizable player ever to play in the WNBA. Her profile supersedes WNBA fans. She has a huge, gigantic target on her back from right-wing extremists. She just does. The WNBA profile has grown tremendously and sadly faster than the money coming in to support it. I think it's changing. I've seen the changes. But these moments are bound to happen until the league and these teams can afford to treat these players like the world-class athletes that they are. Period. In political news, the queers won a battle in Florida. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Judge Robert Hinkle has granted a preliminary injunction against a ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth. Now, it's not a complete injunction for minors who may wish to obtain treatment, but it does allow for trans folks in Florida to continue receiving care while all this gets sorted out in the courts. The judge said trans folks would suffer irreparable harm if they were not allowed to continue access to hormones and other types of treatment. Family, he actually wrote a 44-page ruling on the matter, 44 pages, and said the decision to pursue the ban on puberty blockers and hormonal treatment a political decision and not a, quote, legitimate state interest. Come on, Judge. The case is being brought by families of trans youth represented by Southern Legal Counsel, GLBTQ legal advocates and defenders, the National Center for Lesbian Rights, and the Human Rights Campaign. Now, you can read the full release in the show notes, okay? One of the parents challenging the ban said, quote, "Today my entire family is breathing a huge sigh of relief. knowing we can now access the treatment that we know will keep Susan healthy and allow her to continue being the happy, confident child she has been. This is what it's about. The fight is for her. This fight is for the Susans in our community, right? Come on. Come on, Florida. Keep fighting, y'all. We got your back. And I think this is a great time to take a quick break and hear from a couple of our sponsors, all right? We'll be right back.
What has 144 players, 12 teams, and 1 league that you should tap into? If you guessed the WNBA, you already know. If you didn't, we'll get you up to speed real quick. My name is Money, and this is Rebound Revolution, bringing you the revolutionary on and off the court happenings in the W. Join me and a special guest each week as we watch them work. Listen to Rebound Revolution wherever you get your podcasts.
It's summertime shy, which means it's time for another epic lipstick and lace white party. Y'all better get ready. Saturday, July 1st is Black Pride weekend, and it is going down at the Bottom Lounge, 1375 West Lake Street. Doors open at 9 o'clock. It's $15 till midnight and $20 after. You can get in free admission if you take an HIV test on site at the party. DJ Lamont and DJ Lil Jon are holding it down. You can book your tables, and it's free street parking. Follow Lipstick and Lace on Facebook. And don't miss this party. I'm gonna be sexy, you gonna be sexy, we gonna be sexy together at the white party. Welcome back to the pod, family. In culture news, the Human Rights Campaign has officially declared a state of emergency for LGBTQ+ Americans in the United States. Now, I heard about this on Tuesday while I was co-hosting the Outspoken storytelling event here in Chicago. I do it every first Tuesday alongside Art Johnston, who is the owner of Sidetrack, one of the largest bars in the country, but also has been such a long-term advocate for LGBTQ rights. And he's the one that told me that HRC had declared this state of emergency. I'm grateful I was able to be there and surrounded by all these other queers, you know? This is the first time in HRC's 40-year history that they've ever declared such a thing. This declaration comes in response to the enlarging surge in anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ legislation. We've talked about it here on this pod. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how many times, right? I don't know. With over 75 anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ bills signed into law this year alone. 75. More than double the number from last year. HRC's report, it's titled LGBTQ+ Americans Under Attack. Now, this report exposes the discriminatory nature of these laws and their adverse impact on LGBTQ folks. The report also reveals a significant increase in bills introduced in state legislatures, right? We've talked about that. It's been over 500 this year alone, right? And over 220 of these bills are specifically targeting trans individuals. So 2023 is literally the worst year on record for anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. Y'all, we ain't even halfway through the year yet. Y'all get that, right? I'm reporting on this and it is June. We still got 6 months to go. Now, Nadine Smith, CEO of Equality Florida, said, "The assault on freedom is not limited to one state, but permeates across America. The erosion of civil liberties by extremists to further their own political ambitions pose a direct threat to the health and safety of LGBTQ individuals. It is imperative for all of us to recognize the gravity of this moment and commit ourselves to being on the front lines, unwavering in the fight for freedom." I saw Nadine speak at Equality Illinois' gala last year, and she is a powerful force. Our family in Florida could not have a better advocate. And y'all, maybe one day I'll get a chance to chat with her on this podcast, you know? Maybe one day. In entertainment news, I've got some really amazing news. History was made Sunday night at the Tonys when Jay Harrison and Alex Newell became the first non-binary identifying performers to win Tony Awards. Yes, they did. Jay Harrison won for the best performance by a leading actor in a musical, Some Like It Hot, while Alex won for best performance by an actor in a featured role in a musical for Shucked. Jay said, for every trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming human who was ever told you couldn't be seen, this is for you. Alex, in their acceptance speech, said, "Thank you for seeing me, Broadway. I should not be up here as a queer, non-binary, fat, black, little baby from Massachusetts. To anyone that thinks they can't do it, I'm going to look you dead in your face and say that you can do anything you put your mind to." They both look so amazing, y'all, on the red carpet, just beaming. I love that they owned their moments. They owned it. They took up all the ground that they walked on, as Connie Lindsay says. So congratulations, family. Congratulations. And I've got one last entertainment story, y'all, and I just could not end this pod without talking about The Ultimatum. Queer Love, yeah, it's on Netflix. And if you aren't familiar, it's a show that takes 5 queer couples where one person of each couple has given the other an ultimatum. Now, the ultimatum is either you marry me or I'm out. Now, they all had different reasons why they were throwing out these ultimatums, okay? Now, the trick of this show is that they actually set these couples, these individuals up with another partner temporarily. Like, they break up with the person they came there with and live with somebody else for 30 days, supposedly with no contact with the person they started the show with. Now, given how the reunion went, that's not how it went down for everybody. But by the end of the show, all the couples left engaged, but one. A year later, when filming the reunion, only 2 were still together. Now remember, we started with 5, okay? Ended the show with 4 still wanting to stay together. By the time of the reunion, only 2 were standing strong. And then after the reunion, only 1 was left standing, Sam and Ozzy. This show is so messy, and it's not something I typically watch. Some parts I have to fast forward through, okay, because I just get uncomfortable. But that's totally normal for me. I frustrate my wife all the time. So if nothing else, Ray, Lexi, Xander, Vanessa, Yoli, Mal, Tiff, Mildred, Sam, and Ozzy made some great freaking television. Okay, so if you're looking for some queer reality drama, this show is for you. It is definitely for you. Now for my word today, on Sunday, I produced a pride service with 2 of my favorite pastors. The service is called Resist, Reclaim, Rejoice. It was such a beautiful and divine time. My favorite drag queen and friend, Cleopocalypse, performed the readings, and we played musical clips from Mother Nina Simone's Feeling Good. You know, I just truly believe queer folks deserve spaces of worship that affirm their humanity in the world. If a queer person is looking for a place to be closer to God, it shouldn't be a needle in the haystack. The haystack should be full of places for them to be affirmed, but it's just not the case. That is not our reality. So I wanted to create the reality because we deserve it. And one of the most beautiful parts of the service was the closing. They read a poem together by Adrienne Marie Brown called Spell for Reclaiming the Moment. I want to read you just the last portion because it touches me and I think it might touch you. It goes, "Even now, we can anticipate harvest, be shocked by the thunderclap, the storm, laugh at the abundance of our grief, and our earnest attempt to avoid the inevitable. We are a delight. We could be another's blessing with our brief and epic lives, where every day we are given the option of love." That's right, family. Every day we are given the option. And I hope you choose joy, and I hope you choose love. Till next week, peace. If you enjoyed what you hear, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is a production of E3 Radio, your #1 queer radio station playing queer music and reporting on queer news in high rotation.